A lot of people, both men and women, shared their stories about being cheated on or simply breaking up. They described their pain and how difficult things are for them right now. Some don't understand why, even though they were kind, loving, and never said no to their partner, did everything they could, why they still ended up with a broken heart. Why is it that loyal people who were always willing to compromise and forgive a lot either got dumped or cheated on? Relationships broke down. And you know what? This situation is actually pretty common. When the loyal, caring person gets left behind. It even happens that after a breakup, the girl leaves the good guy and runs off with some obvious bad boy or abuser. That's a pretty interesting question from a psychological point of view, and in this video, we'll try to figure out why that happens. Quick note, for simplicity only, I'll be speaking from a male perspective and mostly using examples where the girl leaves the guy. That's just easier for my 95% male audience. But everything I'll be saying applies equally to the reverse situation. Men leave kind, sweet, caring women who cook, clean, never say no to sex, not just a gem, but a diamond, and still they get dumped. So why do good people get left? It's not a simple question, might even be a little philosophical. Because logically, if someone is abusive or negative, of course you'd leave them. But if someone is kind and caring, you'd think you'd stay, right? But reality shows us a lot of cases where kind people get dumped and toxic relationships survive. It seems illogical, even paradoxical. That's why it creates so much debate. I gave it some thought and came up with a few possible reasons. First of them is too much love. If you give your partner an overdose of love, it can backfire. Love is important, but when there's too much of it, it can start to feel suffocating. Think of it like sweets. If you occasionally eat candy, it's great. But if you eat 10 cakes a day, you'll get sick. Same with love. Too much of it can make someone feel overwhelmed or even annoyed. Some people might like constant affection, 24/7 love and tenderness. But let's be real, I've never met anyone like that in my many centuries of life. Like anything else, training, socializing, resting, love needs balance. Even the most social extrovert still needs their own space. And by the way, some people can only sleep well alone. Even with someone they love, it's just uncomfortable. They wake up constantly. So sleeping alone, or even in separate beds, can actually be better. Secondly, we get used to good things. Humans adapt. You get used to good food, comfort, even sex. What used to be a fantasy becomes normal, expected, boring. The brain devalues what it gets too easily. You might say you treasure your partner and your relationship, but deep down, your brain might not be feeling it anymore. That's why sometimes people start seeking new experiences. There's even a rare type of person who finds perfect relationships boring. Like, it's too good, nothing to argue about, kinda dull. That's why emotional roller coasters, where there's drama, jealousy, abuse, can feel more exciting to them. Then comes biological drive toward polygamy. Some animals are monogamous, like swans or wolves, but most animals, including humans, are biologically polygamous, meaning we're wired to seek multiple partners over a lifetime. It helps with reproduction. So even if you're a great partner, some people just have that biological urge stronger than others. After the initial 1 to 3 year hormonal in-love phase fades, they want someone new, and they might not even know why. The next probable reason is differences in values, goals, or intelligence. No matter how kind and caring you are, maybe you and your partner are just too different. Different goals, values, personalities. Even a big difference in intelligence can cause problems. At first it might seem fine, but over time, the cracks show. Some say opposites attract because they bring variety. Others say shared interests are more important. Personally, I think having common ground is better. If you both love anime, for example, there's always something to talk about. Maybe you even watch my videos together. That's wholesome. But if one's into anime, gaming, and programming, and the other's into motorcycles, clubs, and dancing, well, that's harder. Those relationships are more fragile. 5. Priorities. Maybe one person sees the relationship as the most important thing in their life. The other prioritizes career or something else. That mismatch can cause breakups, no matter how kind you are. And the last one for today, mistaking kindness for weakness. Unfortunately, some people see kind, patient partners as easy to dump. They won't fight back. They'll just take it. And they're right, which makes the good person even more disposable in their eyes. It's cruel, but it happens. After the breakup, a common thought. That person was the one. I'll never find better. Maybe I'll never find anyone again. That's your brain idealizing your ex. Even if they had flaws, now you forget all that. You only remember the good. But over time, your brain will stabilize. You won't forget them, but you won't cry about it anymore. No more sad flashbacks, no more I got hit with memories again. But yeah, it takes time. And sure, some people suffer for years, even dream about their ex regularly. But still, eventually it fades. And here's a weird thing. Sometimes years later, you'll see your ex again, and you'll think, wow, they've changed. And not in a good way. Traits that annoyed you before, they've gotten worse. Maybe they've even developed red flags or let themselves go, and you realize, I'm actually glad we broke up. Final thoughts. Even in something as good as kindness, there needs to be balance. Too much kindness can backfire. You can't always predict if a relationship will last, and based on modern trends, the odds aren't great. People come and go. Everything starts and ends. Even the joy of first love, even the pain of heartbreak.